Welcome back, everybody. I'm sure you've had plenty of liquor and are ready for the second round.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get another one?
No.
I'm waiting for the signal.
Well, what we have up next is a very special message for Ed. That's what I'm going to say about it.
Hi Ed!
Hi, Ed.
It's Luke
And Heather.
from
Tasty
THP
Monster Productions.
And we just wanted to say a little hello to you at your celebration and say thank you for everything that you have done for us.
Yes, and congratulate you on your retirement, though I know that it's a bit of a false economy because I'm sure that we're going to see you at Updos and we're going to see you doing all kinds of
Dancing the
new
night
adventures.
Yeah, having parties, and you've got your family and everybody out there who's going to be whisking you around places, having a time of your life. And so we just wanted to send a quick little message because we can't be there in person, although we are always there in spirit with you to say congratulations, yay! Go have fun in your retirement and come visit us, okay?
Yes,
The East Coast needs you.
We're desperate. We miss you, and we have a deficit of Ed Hansons here.
Yeah, we've got no work for the next year, so we need you to come help us. Oh, except Heather's running for office, which is obviously the most important thing. Hey, go and vote on November the 6th, and before that, celebrate with Ed, wherever he's sitting in the house. And thanks so much again, Ed. Have a brilliant day.
We'll be following your journeys.
And thank you for always keeping it tasty.
Heather is running for the State House in Maryland.
Yes.
She put a little team of women together that are all supporting each other's campaign, and they're all trying to get elected together, and they all got through the primaries. And so, very exciting. It's very grassroots and very exciting to see them do that.
Can we vote in Maryland?
No, we can't.
Vote in Chicago.
But you can vote in Columbia, Missouri.
She has signs in her truck.
All right. Well, we can vote?
Yeah.
All right. So this next lovely woman that I'd like to bring up, she works well with her hands, if you know what I'm saying. I see you over there. How you doing? Miss Dana Bauer.
Good evening, everyone, or at least I hope so. You had your chance to get out. We're in this for the long haul now. My name is Dana Bucky, and I have been doing shows at Talking Horse since the very first season. There is a horrifying picture of me up there in a terrible bridesmaid's dress. Yes, terrible dress. The other roasters tonight are some of the finest and most talented people that the Columbia creative scene has to offer. In addition to them, Bill Bear is here. And to take too many shots at my fellow presenters just felt too mean-spirited and easy. Speaking of mean and easy, hi, Craig. But the man of the hour is Ed, and if we don't start talking about him, he's going to get restless and make a scene, so let's keep this moving. As a member of the Talking Horse Productions Children's Theater Troupe, I have done 9 shows with Ed. And when you have done 100 performances in elementary schools, libraries, preschools, well, things happen. Unpredictable behavior, constant chatter, foul language, highly inappropriate comments, and that's just Ed. The incident that sticks out most in my mind was about 2 years ago. We were performing at the Columbia Public Library, where I work. Where I sometimes maintain a veneer of professionalism. And my sweet, innocent coworker Amy was hosting us that evening. Now, Ed has already threatened to take his pants off 3 times tonight. He could drop trowel here and now, and I don't think a single person in this room would be surprised or impressed. But this was in the public library. And instead of stepping 5 feet down the hall to the restrooms, Ed decided to do what Ed does. Right there in a room meant for the education and enrichment of innocent children. And Amy walked in. Amy is not a theater person. Alright? We're all sick fucks, we know, okay? But Amy was naive and unsullied by old men with no boundaries. She stepped in and came face to face with a strange man wearing no pants. The poor thing blushed bright red, like did one of these, and like threw the check at him and ran away. I apologized later, but how can I even really begin to explain? I mean, look at him. And she confessed that she was so flustered that she couldn't even remember really what had happened or what she had done. And really, for her own well-being, I hope that's true. I could go on, but I won't. Because I love you, Ed. I have loved almost all of the experiences that I have had here, and that you have made possible with this theater. You have built a wonderful thing. A semi-professional theater that produces compelling and high-quality entertainment, dedicated not just to performance, but education and outreach. And I think you have left it in the best hands possible. The newly crowned queen of Talking Horse Productions, Roshara Knight. And I'm sure her court jester, Adam Britsky, will help. So thank you. So, thank you very much for casting me in that show 7 years ago and putting me in that god-awful dress and setting me on the path that I hope that has many more adventures ahead. So if you have a glass, please raise it to Ed Hansen.
Go ahead and add Dana to our blacklist.
Why would I do that?
All right. Next up, now we get into the fun part. We've got a couple more auditions for Ed. Yeah, we're having fun now. Ed has told me some of his dream roles that he hasn't gotten a chance to play, and hopefully now with his retirement, he'll get a chance to play some of those dream roles. One such dream role is the role of Mr. Cladwell when you're in town. And I thought, to give him a shot above the competition, why not have him go ahead and give us a cold read of Cladwell right now. For that, I've enlisted the help of Mary Shaw, who is out here. Yay! She wanted me hope. She is. And remember, read it exactly as it is on the page. Don't point out any typos. I have a lot to do, okay? Anyway, enjoy.
Step in the light, man. I'm reviewing my lines first, like all actors do. You're not going anywhere. Not until we nip this unpleasantness in the bud.
Nip? How so?
You're a Cladwell, Hope. What would you do if the very foundation of your life's work were threatened by rabble-rousing board members?
Look deep into their hearts and try to understand what made them pound so angrily.
Angry, you say? No one's angry at me. Not without a beating.
A beating? Oh, Daddy, beating people is wrong.
Life is a beating. It's opening a theater with the intent of performing and then picking up drink glasses, sweeping up cookie crumbs, and scrubbing toilets. Have you seen the men's room? Why do you think they call it Urinetown?
Then life is wrong.
Embrace it. I have. That's why I plan to pawn it off on two hungry unsuspecting souls.
Life should be beautiful.
And soon it will be. Soon I'll retire and have 2 new bunnies to do it for me.
But, Daddy, they're people, not bunnies, not animals.
People are animals, oh darling. And it's time we bagged ourselves a few rats. I want that role.
I like the part about unsuspecting. Yeah. that's valid. The next gentleman that we'll be bringing up, he likes to. There's no gentleman around. Especially not this guy. He sticks around to pay for his drinking habit. Chris Petty.
Didn't realize I was up that quick. Here, hold this. Before I get started, I just want...
It would be nice. You'd probably have to have a day job
Yeah,
while you're doing that.
for quite some time. But the people who do it have such great lives. They're so cool.
Take 4.
Is that how you know?
Is that my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can line up the audio later.
Take 4. All right, let's go. Let's rock and roll.
Before I get into the important part of this whole thing, I just want everyone to look at the person to their left. Now, look at the person to their right. All right. I want you to be fully aware of the fact that you are surrounded by people that, much like you, overpaid to sit here tonight and listen to this group of mystery to make our jobs as roasters incredibly easy. I mean, come on. The material you've given us, this is a cakewalk. This isn't even going to be a challenge. So tonight we have gathered here to honor a man that needs no introduction, because I'm fairly certain he might be on the sexual predator list somewhere because of his affliction to pants. A man that considers a job to be challenging just because it requires him to wear pants. A man that has an unhealthy addiction to coffee, which I suspect might be code for some sort of illegal street drug. A man that so severely lacks talent that he had to create his own theater company in order to get cast in a show. Tonight, we honor Mr. Ed Hansen. Woo! And I will point out that his name is Edwin Hansen, and I know that because up until recently, that's been the name printed at the top of the checks I receive. So, let's talk about the bad choices you must have made in your life, Ed. I mean, you have to have screwed up a lot for this group to be called on to roast you. I mean, just look at the group. There's a creepy old guy, a pervert, an asshole, a hack, a complete waste of human flesh, and an idiot. Hey, and that's just Craig. We also have a politician, which is almost as low as you can get, but I love you, Nora.
Oh, yes.
But the lowest rung on this ladder to hell is Tom, a scenic artist.
I was an actor, bitch. Look what you've done to me.
Being an actor doesn't make you any better.
I know. At least I get paid for what I do now.
Well, anyway, knowing that, I really hope you're reconsidering some life choices. So I want to talk a little bit about the first time I met Ed. They were still over in the Cafe Berlin as their theater company, or their space, and they were doing a production of The Fantastics. Tom,
Yes.
I believe you were the director for that.
No,
You were there at the audition.
I auditioned people, but no one wanted to do it.
Well, I auditioned for that show. It was my first experience in
Yes, I
Columbia
remember.
Theater. And apparently I was so terrible that they decided to not do the show and claim they were moving to a different location.
Oh my God, that's so true. I love you, man.
I would like to say that deterred me from further pursuing theater in Columbia, but I work for Ed now. Or I did. So fuck my life. I've worked at Talking Horse for, what's it been, 3 years now? Oh, God. And one of the most common questions I get asked is,
What the hell are you doing?
the second most common question is, where did the name Talking Horse come from? And I've heard the story many times, so I always tell them it comes from Ed's nickname, the Talking Horse's ass. And then they look at me in disbelief, and then I tell them the truth about the whole Mr. Ed thing and talking horses and yada yada. And the improv group is called the Stable Boys, right?
Yep.
The theater is Talking Horse, right?
Right.
And you're Mr. Ed, right?
Right.
People, I worked at his house, installed a few fixtures, and let me tell you, this equestrian naming thing he's got going on goes from clever to creepy real quick. When you discover his private collection of riding crops and assless chaps.
We call it the prop room. I had known of Ed for a few years before I took the role of tech director around here. And I first, as tech director, I gotta say, this light sucks. I'm getting a glare from the bald spot. Can we do something about that? You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't hear when I set it up.
If you get on a goddamn ladder, it'd be better.
When I first met with Ed about taking over as technical director, we had this meeting, and he came across as a very professional person, very intelligent. And while that all turned out to kind of be a complete load of bullshit, I can't claim that I haven't learned anything from knowing Ed. In the 3 years that I've worked here, Ed has really helped to disprove several of the stereotypes that I had kind of been clinging to. Before I met Ed, I used to think that all music teachers had some kind of musical talent, and that all semi-professional actors could actually act. Before I met Ed, I used to think that all theater people were total, complete drama queens. Actually, you didn't disprove that one. Before I met Ed, I used to think that all gay people were stylish. Needless to say, I no longer cling to some of those stereotypes. Really? Plaid? That's a tech director's outfit.
Some of us wear it better than others.
You're right, I do. All joking aside, for the past several years, Ed has worked tirelessly to create and maintain our little theater company. He's been here before every show to mop the floors and clean the bathrooms. He spent afternoons walking around downtown distributing signs and show posters. He's handled all the phone calls and ticket reservations. And he's done every job that's been required of him, no matter how menial. When he announced his retirement, I knew there was no way that one person could possibly replace him. Then I found out that Shar and Adam were his replacements, and I knew things were going to be okay. Hell, between the two of them, we even got get a small dose of Ed's unique blend of personality traits. Shara is the personification of Ed's inner sassy black woman. And Adam, well, he represents the narcissistic, hackneyed, megalomaniac part of Ed's personality. And a small small way, it's almost like Ed is still here. For 3 years, I have worked with Ed and Talking Horse Productions, and despite my threats to contact our human resources officer, Ed, I could say that without a doubt, Ed has been the best artistic director that I have ever had the honor of working with. Very few people in this world could have built what he has built here, and I'm convinced that nobody in this world could have done it with as much honor, class, and passion as he has. Enjoy your retirement, Ed. You've earned it. To quote a wise old man that I once knew, I need a fucking drink.
Are we moving to me now?
Yes.
I was like, we're a little out of order, so I just wanted to check.
Well, get it.
And I'll be fine. Okay, so.
Oh, is that how this is gonna go from now on?
Hold up.
It's an improv.
You left your drink.
I left the drink over here. Thank you. I'm good.
I mean, I said that's why he was sticking around. Alright, so I don't personally have a speech because, you know, I have a very hard time of saying terrible things about Ed. However,
Just wait.
I do have a little melody that Miss Meg Phillips Crespi wanted to write for Mr. Hansen. She put this together. She's obviously overseas now, like in Jerusalem.
Yeah, she was smart. She ran away.
So this is a little ditty that she wrote that I am going to sing. And it'll have a very familiar melody, of course, especially to Mr. Hansen. So here we go.
Yes, indeed, horse.
And now the end is near, and Ed must face the final curtain. My friends, I'll say it clear, I'll state the case of which I'm certain. He founded Talking Horse. Yes, he worked hard and he made headway. And we, because of this, we all did escalate. His list of tasks were long. Yes, even the toilets required attention. His work ethic was strong. He even got us a tax exemption. He planned each season's course. He even threw some fancy soirees. And we here at Talking Horse, we put on Ed's plays. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when he bit off more than he could chew. Didn't eat him. Come on. But through it all, behind the scenes, he drank lots of wine and ran on caffeine. He faced it all and took every phone call and put on Ed's plays. This plan of Ed's unfurled. It didn't matter what the odds were. And the bonus for all the world, he introduced us all to Dodger. And to think he did it all and put on Ed's place. For what is Ed? What does he possess? 2,000 Facebook friends! Oh yes! And so tonight, on their behalf, I say thanks for all the laughs. You took a chance. You put on some damn pants. And you did it Ed's way.
Turn it off, Adam.
Yeah, turn it off. Or leave it on, you know.
Loop.
It's fine.
It's on a
So
loop.
now
Start
I'm
over.
gonna stall for a minute because it's Adam's starting to come down and do stuff.
Come down from your high horse.
I was like, I'm down here doing all the work as you. So how's everybody feeling tonight? You're feeling good? Please drink plenty. We get funnier as the evening goes on.
God, I hope.
I'm just going to keep watching this. This is great.
I know. Thank you.
Well, that's beautiful and impossible to follow. Thank you, Shara. Boy, I would hate to have to follow that.
Yeah.
Speaking of things we hate, Craig Yeager's here. Greg and Tom, they got a little something special for us.
Ah, shit. Ladies, what you're about to see, and gentlemen, what you're about to see is the first day that Ed took me into the new theater. Craig will be playing Ed. I, unfortunately, will be playing myself. Hi, Ed. This is great. This is great. I actually, Spectrum Studios, had this place. It's huge. It's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah.
And it's going to be...
What's the matter?
What's the wall doing there?
I'm sure I told you that we're only half the stage.
What's the wall?
I sent you an email.
What's the
I
wall
Facebook
doing
messaged
here?
you. I texted you.
On what? On what? What did you do? We did.
Look.
It's just what?
Look.
Here, this
Yeah, we
little
have this
place.
thing. Yes, that's what we have. And look, next door, I can't remember. The landlord said it was either going to be a distillery or an S&M dungeon. You know which one I prefer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the latter because I think it's going to be called Dungeon Master.
Where did it all go? Where did the theater go?
Look, we don't have time to listen to this. We need to go through this list. It's quite a long list to put together of stuff I need to buy.
Okay.
And we have no money.
Okay, it's smaller now.
Right. Okay. So let me make sure I got everything on here. You wanted a 4-pack dinner system, 24-channel board, 40 Fresnels, 40 Licos, 40 foot of control
I
cable.
think we need half of that now.
I'm not very good at math, but we'll figure it out. Let's see, 1,000 foot of 16.3. Ooh. I think the most I've ever had is about a 7. Let's see, follow spot and the grid, 30,000 foot. Barn door. So there are a few very critical things missing from this list. Where are the flash pots?
You make me want to smoke.
Flash pots. We gotta have flash pots. I'm gonna do Sinatra shows.
What?
Flash pots for my Sinatra shows.
Sinatra shows?
What
are you talking about?
No, I'm sorry. That was my Motley Crue shows. Okay. We're also going to need a runway.
A runway?
Yes.
Why? Why do you need a runway?
Well,
we don't have a theater. Why would you want a runway?
Let me try to explain it.
Ed,
Yes.
if you can't explain it, why don't you sing it to me?
That's a great idea. We can have fashion shows running through the theater with people taking off their pants, and so of course some Chippendale shows. Well, 2 cigarettes. I don't smoke.
They're all mine.
And probably the most important thing, I think, we're going to need a turntable.
Why? Why would you want a turntable?
Look.
Why? So the audience can go around and
No.
like a little carousel?
No. I mean, we're going to stage some important musicals in here. We could do Oliver, Black Box version of Fiddler, or even Sweeney Todd.
Oh!
Just kidding.
I love you, Ed. You're so funny. Well, I guess I'm off to redesigning everything.
Okay, well, good luck.
Yes.
Take your list, and I've added the.
Yes. Crazy old drunken man.
My own theater. This doesn't feel quite right. Not sure what it is.
I know.
I'm home!
Well, that settles it. Smoking doesn't make you look cool. I am really excited about our next speaker. You see, when I returned to Columbia, I wondered how many of my connections from my old high school days would still be here. Found out that none of them. They all found better ways and left as soon as they could. But I was very delighted to know that one of my favorite teachers was still here, now retired, and actually knew one of my new colleagues, Ed Hansen. Favorite teacher, but unfortunately Bob Bohan couldn't be here tonight. Got the next best thing though. She always wants me to call her Jennifer, but it's just so hard for me. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Cohn.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. Good to see you all here tonight. Hi, Ed. I am so thrilled to be here because I have been. Okay, am I in the right light now? Yeah. I've been waiting for a night like this, a time like this, and a group of people that I can trust, because I'm ready to tell you the truth. There's been years of gossip and myth, and I'm here to tell you it's true. Ed and I have been lovers. It's true.
Someone put her up to it.
Except for my dear husband, Rex, not here tonight. No other man was able to whisper terms of endearment to make me puddle like Ed. One time, he referred to me as his 100-pound sack of sugar. I weighed more than that at the time. And I'm sure I hurt his back. But I appreciate the sentiment. And then there was that time that I wasn't well. I was just I was drained of all energy and I was having difficulty sleeping. And Ed would hold me in his strong arms and he would tell me that he loved me and that he would protect me from all evil. Oh, and then there were the many, many, many times that Ed Hansen would turn his back on me, drop his trousers, and show me his magnificent underwear, which had the widest array of colors and patterns I had ever seen. And so now you know the truth that Ed and I were lovers. But sadly for me, it was always on stage. And sometimes in my personal fantasies. But when we shared the terms of endearment, he was Will to my Ado Annie in Oklahoma. When he held me in his arm when I was wan and listless, he was my fiancé in Dracula. And when he would drop trowel and show me his magnificent underwear, so did all the other guys in Pump Boys and Dinettes. And they always did it right before I went on stage. But let me tell you, my friends, I always sang with conviction. So Ed was always so much fun on stage and off stage. And even just some of the impromptu cast parties that sometimes ended up at my apartment at Apple Tree Court. And there was one particular night, I vaguely remember, that Ed and one or two people kind of disappeared, and then they reappeared later, wet. And they had found a lake close to my apartment. And my understanding is that they had a little midnight swim, and clothes were not involved. And then I also heard that there was an issue with the sand that kind of got into some places that were, well, you know what? Okay, wait, I wasn't there. I can't tell you the details, so you're just going to have to ask Ed later on about that. So we had so much fun doing theater together, but then we also worked on things away from the theater, in committees and other projects, and we were on the board of directors together for Maplewood Barn. Now, I don't know how many of you have been here that long, but yes, Maplewood Barn was there before Ed, but Ed Hansen was and still is Mr. Maplewood. Yes? And to be on the board of directors with Ed, and he was so passionate about bringing quality community theater to this town, and he just pulled you along. Whatever he asked you to do, you said, okay. And I believe there were a lot of people involved. How many of you involved in Maplewood Barn? Let me see. Raise your hands. There you go, Maplewood Barn. But I believe it was Ed and his passion and the people he pulled along that made Maplewood Barn the iconic treasure that it is today. And the support that he has gotten for the barn, that on that day that poor dilapidated building burned to the ground, and David Hurst and I do not believe that it was arson. We don't. We believe that all of those years of the Final Lead hairspray building up that poor building was It is. But because of the support that Ed had built up all those years, money was raised quickly and that barn was rebuilt. Well done. Well done, my friend. And can you even imagine how many children, young people that Ed influenced positively through his church, Maplewood Barn, and all those crazy summer camps that you would organize at Southern Boone schools, at Columbia Public Schools, and beyond. Thousands of kids. And so, we are so pleased to have him. And then to have him step away from family-friendly community theater and then come to this. Once again, community theater, but for adults, with a little bit of edge. Once again, my friend, well done. Well done. And so we are here to cheer and roast. Ed and Ray, no, wait. No. I can't leave without being honest with you. Don't be fooled by his effervescent smile. And that laugh of his and that twinkle in his eye. Mm-mm. Don't be fooled. There's a dark side to it. The stories that I could tell you, the many stories that I could, but I just don't want to ruin the evening. I really don't. Okay, I'll tell you one. So I was on the board of directors with Ed. And we were having a meeting at my apartment on Apple Tree Court. And as usual, the meeting went really long.
I didn't bring my H4 in, so thank God you.
So I turned to Ed and the rest of the board members, whom I assumed were my friends. And I said, just be sure not to
I knew you'd be happy. Now just hear me out. I don't want to harm you.
Well, you have. You have harmed me.
I know that. And I regret it.
There you are. I'm setting those monkeys free, and if you try to interfere or call your guards.
I'm not going to call anyone. Truth is, I'm glad to see you again. It gets pretty lonely for me around here. I'm sure you get lonely too.
You don't know the first thing about me.
Oh, but I do. I do know you. I can't explain it exactly, but Elphaba, you've been so strong through all of this. Aren't you tired of being the strong one? Wouldn't you like someone to take care of you?
I would give anything to turn back the clocks. Go back to that time when I actually believed that you were wonderful. That wonderful Wizard of Oz. No one believed in you more than I did.
My dear child, I never asked for this. Growing up as a young boy in the Midwest, one day I was out with my hoop and stick. And, of course, my dear dog Dodger. When I was swept away in tornado to a magical land of fantastical characters, mesmerizing lights, and endless music. It was like I was seeing in color for the first time.
You mean Oz?
No, I'm talking about musical theater. Nowhere else can you find men and women in elaborate costumes, singing and dancing, performing. Once I was in it. I was in it. I have tried my whole career to recreate the same magic I discovered that day right here in Oz. But for too long, I've been stuck behind the curtain, depriving the world of my true magic.
Oz isn't so bad. Where else can you find someone without a brain, a heart, or any semblance of courage?
Well, that's Craig. You just described Craig. He's right here.
I see.
Now do you understand? You see why I must emerge from hiding and take my rightful place. In the spotlight.
We have one more roaster for you tonight, and he's a very special guest. Tim Hansen, if many of you haven't guessed, he's Ed's son.
What?
And further proof that Ed can do anything with his eyes closed.
Yeah, you were funny until that. He wasn't funny at all.
You guys made it here tonight. I'm sorry. Probably a million other things that we could all be doing right now, besides hearing about you. And you can pretty much figure out everything about his whole life. If any of you don't know me, I am Tim. I'm the one who's responsible for all these adorable grandbaby pictures.
Yes.
Your news feed at the moment. You're welcome.
He's delightful.
Where to begin? Thank you. Where to begin though about my dad? There's a lot to say, and he's probably said all of it. I'll try to add a different flavor to the story and talk about growing up with Ed as my dad. The memory that sticks out the most from my childhood related to my dad, of course, is waiting. We're always waiting for him to do something no matter where we went. We were waiting for him to finish a conversation with a school parent, or a former student, or maybe a choir participant, or a church parishioner, or just waiting outside of the bathroom. Seriously, the colon on this man is incredible. Does anybody remember when Talking Horse first opened and they had like the terrible water pressure issues in the bathroom?
Yeah.
So everybody's like, oh, this is Brookside, blaming it on the apartments. It wasn't just here, it was like my studio building and like everybody on the block too. Nobody can shut the bathroom down on a block like my dad can. Part of the problem, which I'm sure all of you know, is the coffee. I feel like the coffee was his first child at times. He drinks so much coffee that he talks a mile a minute. And how many pots have you had today?
Just one.
Just one? He's lying. Don't actually tell us though. We don't really want to. Another part of growing up with my dad was all of the wonderful activities, of course. Naturally, all of our lives revolved around what my dad was doing. If you think he's busy today in retirement, you should have seen him when he was actively teaching, directing choir at church, being an amateur actor, very amateur, and father extraordinaire. He's just a busy guy, which is also why this whole exercise is a bit rhetorical. My dad says he's retiring, I finger quoted again. We've all heard that before. We're all back here. Also, we'll probably be here celebrating another retirement in a couple of years, I'm sure. In fact, I know that some of you out here are retired. Can people please fucking help him? If Vern had actually be retired, it would be great for the rest of us. It would be awesome. But seriously, speaking about my father, it's been one of the greatest joys of my life in the last year to become a father myself. And it's been a real joy to watch you become a grandfather also. We all know that Ed couldn't just be grandpa. He is fondly referred to as Poppy. That was the name that I called him when I was a kid. He was my poppy flower and I was his stinkweed. But he's proud to be Poppy, and he's always proud if we text a picture of Cormac to him. That usually he posts it to Facebook before he replies to the actual message.
He's so stinking cute. How can you help
No reply, just Facebook, and it's there. Usually before we can post the photos. You know? But in all seriousness, you're one of the best people I know. Your love for music and the arts obviously trickled down on me and gave me the love and passion that I have. And I have a career in arts because of that. And it's made me really happy over the last couple of years to watch you take your dream of being an actor and not only, you know, pursuing acting in your retirement, but also creating a business in a company that you've been able to pass on to other people. So, you know, this is, you know, everybody here is amazingly proud of you. We think you're amazing. There's always a next phase for you, and I'm always, you know, in awe of you, and I can't wait to see what's next for you. I love you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you all for coming.
All right. I suppose we come to a time where he can stick up for himself and say what he has to say. So, we would like to bring forth the man of the hour, or almost 3 hours. We like to rip him a good one. So, Mr. Ed Hansen.
Deliberately did not prepare remarks because I wanted to be able to respond to what I heard. I will tell you, I was dreading tonight, seriously, because I've watched roasts on TV and I know how vicious and mean they can be, and that wasn't tonight. So, thank you very much for that. I look at all these wonderful posters. I remember the graphic artists who helped create them. But more fondly, I remember details about each one. Of course, they're not in order because Adam was in charge of them.
It's not wrong.
We all know I have a favorite. When I first created Talking Horse, and I've told Tim this several times, I never thought about it as being a life sentence. I always thought about it as a wonderful adventure to start and to just see how far we could take it. The original plan for me was to give it 2 years and to see if Columbia would embrace it or not. And the first year, and I think Adam alluded to this earlier, we averaged 25 a night in the audience at our little theater at Cafe Berlin. It's called the Berlin Theater. Cafe Berlin has absorbed that space now, so there really isn't a theater there anymore. But when John offered us the opportunity to move over here, I talked to the board, and I think several of you board members were on at the time, and I said, you know, this is our turning point. This is where we figure out, do we want to continue as a company, or do we want to cut our losses and say it was a good 2 years and we're done? And
none of us would
we
let you
knew,
go.
well, we knew that it was going to cost a lot of money, and we just didn't have the money. And I didn't want to take out loans, and so I dumped my own money into it. So.
And we told him not to.
I know. And Tom Jones, who had dropped by the Berlin Theater at one point, and
Lena Agins is the one at fault. The little museum gave your light and
But he said to me, you know, if you ever need any help with anything, I helped build a little black box theater in Denver, Colorado, and I was like, I'm putting that in my brain. So I called Tom and I said, this is our situation, and I really need help with this project. And it was going to happen over the summer. And Tom devoted his entire summer, really, and rounded up high school kids from Fulton that he knew to come over and put this theater together. And we moved in June. I was doing a production of Hello Dolly in Mississippi because I was still trying to work as an actor. And I had played Horace Van de Gelder in a production in Mississippi. And I got back in mid-July, and in mid-August, directed by the wonderful Dee Dee Ferris, we opened Man with the Plastic Sandwich, which also featured Mark Baumgartner. They're now a couple. And we opened that show 1 month after we moved in here. And Talking Horse has kind of been that way for its entire existence. We have operated largely on really good karma and good intentions.
And talent.
And, well...
Love you, baby.
But I honestly think. Thank you, Marcia. I honestly think that the best thing that I have done at Talking Horse is I've surrounded myself with people who have the same kind of passion and drive that I do. If I have a talent, it is to pick the right person to do the right project. And Talking Horse has grown and developed because of all of those people that we brought in here. For me, it's not so much that I feel like I need to take credit for stuff as it is that I want to take credit. No. It's that I feel like the important thing is to pick really good projects that people want to see and want to be involved with, and then get the right leadership in place to make those things come to fruition. Adam and Shara teamed up with me this summer to interview directors for next season, and I was mostly quiet during those. I let them ask a lot of questions, and I let the director candidates do a lot of talking. And then we would always kind of decompress after we had had those interviews. And I'm hoping that what they get from that experience is how to find the right people, the passionate people for each project that we do. And that as we're looking in the future for projects that Talking Horse will produce in 2020 and beyond, that they're always looking to push that envelope a little bit, that Talking Horse is Columbia's voice for social issues in theater, that Talking Horse is the company that will take a chance on a piece that's not going to be produced unless we do it. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but that means really high quality work that's going to get overlooked unless we jump on it. So for that reason, I really hope that Talking Horse continues to grow and to flourish, that these guys get all the support that I feel like I've gotten, which is none. I'm kidding. How could you deny a man in a kilt to be the president of your board? the board of directors here has really allowed me a lot of leeway. And I think it's partially because they saw the path that I was laying out for the company, and they thought that if they just stand back and let it happen, that Talking Horse is going to become what it's become. And I want to thank them very much for their support, their willingness to let me take them where I saw the company needed to go. But the nice thing about Talking Horse is that we've been able to really have good conversations and to let Talking Horse sort of find its own path in some ways. We started the Starting Gate New Play Festival 4 years ago. That was brought to us by Brad Stevenson, who was a board member at the time. And I thought to myself, you know, I'm not really sure how 6 10-minute plays fits into our season, but it sounds really creative and it sounds like a great avenue for local writers, and let's do it. And so sometimes we just, and this is a little Talking Horse reference, but sometimes we just put our blinders on and we point ourselves in a direction and we say we think that this is the right path to go and let's try it. And we've been amazingly successful with that. It's just kind of remarkable that it's turned out that way. So I credit good karma, but I also credit the love and support of the board and of our Columbia patrons who really seem to think that Talking Horse has filled a niche that was needing to be filled. So for that reason also, thank you very much. For me, retirement probably is never going to be sitting in a rocking chair and reading. I've already signed up for some national auditions in Memphis in February, and I plan to kind of put myself back out there. I was recently offered back my old church music director's job, and so I've taken that. So I'm back conducting choirs and handbell groups. I'm still working at the Sim Lab for the delightful Deanie Fairs. This week I played a man with blood in his urine all week.
He was great in it! He was brilliant!
By the way, did you bring that video?
No, sir.
Man, that's too bad, actually.
Yes.
They punked me yesterday. They sent in a rube, a med student, who pretended to be awful at her job. And she played with her hair all the time, and she took her shoe off and she scratched her foot and everything while she was interviewing me. Really
My
quite
favorite
something.
was when she referred to urine as pee-pee.
Yes, she referred to urine. So I'm still really, really busy. All my love to Tim, who has been a wonderful support for me for 7 years. He tolerates way more than anybody should have to tolerate, and you think you heard the rants. You should be in Tim's shoes, and of course the lovely Dodger, who couldn't be here tonight. He's
Charlie sends his love, Ed.
Yes, Charlie and Dodger.
He is so pissed he wasn't here tonight.
So, thank you all so much for coming tonight. I hope that it was fun for you. I was actually not looking forward to tonight because I've watched roasts before and I know how vicious and cruel they can be. And I'm glad it was all directed to Craig.
This is a little something on behalf of Talking Horse, the board.
Where'd this money come from?
The many volunteers, the Columbia community, the mid-Missouri area. We just want to thank you for the many years of dedicated time. I'm about to get all weepy. Ed's my hero, and I've told him that before because when I came to Talking Horse, I was almost to a point where I was just going to quit acting. And then right after I got on the board, Ed's like, let me tell you about Black Pearl Sings.
Clever bastard.
So, just for me personally, I am so happy to have you in my life and to call you a friend. And on behalf of everyone in this room, we just want to thank you for the time and dedication that you have put into the arts and advocacy here in the Columbia community in the Mid-Missouri area, and into the Talking Horse. And thank you for entrusting me and Adam to take over as you retire. Thank you so much.
Can we turn the air conditioning on now?
We're still in a budget. Thanks, sir.
You got
Thank you.
That's it from you. That's it.
I gave you a whole speech.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for helping out. Sorry, I'm just that kind of fucker.
It's okay.
To exchange emails. I'll send you what I got on WeTransfer.
Yeah, sure.
Is that cool?
Yep. You can take that.
So it's good enough.
Yeah.
You drink all those.
Yeah.
Whatever you have will be great. All right, just make sure I get your email and I get yours, okay?
You got a card or anything? I can just
No, not on me because I didn't expect to have this. Tom K. Jones at yahoo.com. All lowercase.
Tom.
TOMKJONES, no spaces, all lowercase.
At Yahoo?
At yahoo.com.
Gotcha.
Send me a link and I'll throw it on WeTransfer. I'll send you the big file.
Yeah, mine is going to be pretty... How much do you want? You want all of it?
No, I was going to give it to you. Aren't you the poor fucker editing it?
Oh, no, I'm editing. I'm doing it. I'm a journalist doing a story. But you're welcome to use some of my footage if you want.
Please, I would love it because I usually do 2 or 3 camera in here because
Yeah.
I'm by myself. I didn't bring my other cameras and
Yeah.
I was on stage.
That's
so.
fine. But the files will be huge, so we may have to like meet up at some point, and I can transfer it to your
I've got
computer.
the large WeTransfer shit too.
Oh, I don't. So I don't. I can't.
Sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, I'll probably have like 15 gigabytes.
What are you
if not
shooting?
more.
I didn't even look to see what you're shooting with.
What camera?
Yeah, what are you doing?
It's a Lumix G7.
Oh, you're doing the Lumix. Cool, rock on. Great camera.
So huge file sizes though. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will. Yeah, Tom K. Jones at yahoo.com.
Tom K. Jones at yahoo.com, baby.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Did I get in your way when you're doing the stills?
No.
You were completely busy. That's why I grabbed the microphone.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I
an
appreciate
old theater film whore, and
Oh,
I had to jump
you were
in.
much better than I was. I was like doing this.
And I reek of cigarettes and sweat. I hope I didn't
Well, you did
offend
have
anybody.
2 cigarettes,
You did have 2 cigarettes.
No, I was smoking in my car driving here, so it was
next.
Okay. Yeah, got it written down.
Perfect. We'll exchange.
Yes.
Everything will be cool.
Thanks for the help.
And I live close, so if we
Okay.
have to do
Great.
the file thing, then we'll do the file thing. What are you shooting for?
This is well, we're just doing a story about Ed's life.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, so just
Oh,
figured
rock
I'd
on.
come check it out. Yeah.
Very cool. No idea with Chimeric and those guys. I was one of the first red people, red camera people, etc. I've been around forever.
Oh, great.
So I'm not a complete idiot, but I just want to make sure everybody plays nice.
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
And you were doing the close-ups and you rocked. I watched everybody. I love your stills, love your close-ups.
Thank you.
And I better turn my camera off. Look, it's blinking.
I'm gonna get a little more of this.
Hey, see ya. Maybe you'll send me like an email or something.
Great job.
That's awesome. Fantastic.
I'll be around.
What are we doing after? Anybody? Anybody doing anything? Anybody talk about doing anything?
I know Cheryl wants to drink.
She didn't drink while we were there.
Yeah, it's not light.
Let's drink. There goes that Senate run. I forgot my 100 days joke on you. I was so sad. Because I was gonna say Art's here tonight. Art's wearing his chastity belt for everyone to see.
Adam cut us off, or I was gonna do a whole thing with the improv about a country where there's no pain.
Freedom!
And I was gonna use my Scottish accent, and it was gonna be fantastic. Cut us off before
Hey, no worries. You know the combinations.
I survived.
I felt a little bad taking. I was like, oh man, everyone's doing it. It's so funny when everyone does it.
Great job this evening, my dear.
That could have been yours. And that's always like, oh, she was in such and such.
I had 2 glasses in my lug. Good seeing you. Yeah, I want to go get the posters.
Yeah.
It was great. Hey.
Graduated in
2004. Okay.
really good.
Yeah. Be fun.
Probably. At my house.
I thought I was recording, and then the camera went to sleep right after they hugged, and I was like, oh my god. Oh, this one is okay. Want to say something?
I did. Well done, sir. That was great. It's because of Val, yeah.
And so I didn't know where it went, and you were. Hey, what makes you think your video is more important than my photo of this horse?
Of the horse? Actually, that'd be a good photo if you can get a good one.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing this little back thing.
Of course. There we go. Much better.
That's good for us.
Oh yeah. Just stop it. There you go. Choose from there.
So what does it say?
Their time.
Nice. I love this. There you go. There we go. We're gonna go up